Hey everybody, welcome back. The first thing I'm going to do today is add some heat to our garage. We have an insulated garage and we also have a gas hookup already on the wall. So figured I might as well put a heater in here. The last video I gave you guys a laundry list of everything I'm going to do this summer, and this isn't on the list. That's the way it goes. So this is the Dyna 30,000 BTU vent-free infrared space heater. I also ordered the optional blower, model number WHF100, and it should help circulate the air, but this is a vent-free natural gas heater, and it's pretty simple from what I understand. So I need to unbox it because I'm pretty sure I got to go to the hardware store to get some connections. This is what comes in the box, and it does not come with any hookup accessories, no adapters, hoses, pipes, anything like that. So what you have is you have a wall mount, you have screws and hardware to mount it to the wall. There's a battery, which I assume operates the thermostat inside, and then of course instructions. And I'm back, and I went to the hardware store 3 separate times to get the right connectors. So the most important thing you need to know is that the connector for natural gas on the bottom of this is a 3/8 inch NPT fitting. Goes into the bottom right here. Okay, so I'm using a generous amount of, well, it's pipe thread sealant, but it's also known as pipe dope. And that's the best stuff to use for gas line. I would not use Teflon tape for this. Pipe dope. So we're just going to thread that into here. There we go, nice and tight. And we'll have it go out that way. Perfect. The next connection is a compression fitting, so it doesn't necessarily need sealant, but I'm going to use some anyway. Good and tight, but not too tight. That seems perfect. Over here, I just had your typical 1/2 inch gas line. There's a 1/2 inch valve right here. All I needed to do was put in a 1/2 inch nipple in between, and then this is the quick connect that came with this hose. I'll leave a link in the description to show you what hose I bought, and that simply connects right there. So when I'm done with the heater for the winter, I can pull it off of there, turn the valve off. This actually has a, it seals, so it's a safety feature. So when you take this hose out, there's a little plunger in there that keeps it from shooting gas. So anyway, that'll connect right there. Now that we've got all of our connections made, we need to let that pipe dope sit and dry for about 4 hours. Probably longer isn't a bad thing, but we can still go ahead and mount it to the wall, so we're going to start that process. Before I mount this to the wall, I need to install the fan. So here's my fan right here. This is that WHF100 is the model number for the fan. It's a thermostat controlled fan, so I guess it turns on and off with the unit, which is kind of cool. So first thing we need to do is knock out this panel. It says use a screwdriver. It's just a knockout panel, so just got to break these little tack welds. It's actually very difficult. I don't like doing that, but these are not easy to break. I'm bending the crap out of this metal. I don't like designs like this. This is stupid. At least it's the back, I guess. This is not a good way to do this. It's doing more damage to the unit than it is to the knockout panel. Just trying to get it out of there is pretty much impossible. So you should know this It is impossible to do this knockout panel without destroying the back of the unit. Horrible design. It's probably not going to be good for installing the fan, having that all bent up. So let me get some pliers. That's better. I do not like that at all. You do more damage to the product than... Anyway, let's get the fan installed. According to the instructions, this is pretty simple. It seems that you just put the fan in place here, just like that, and run the screws in, and it's done. This only goes in one way. It's got an angle to it that goes up to the front. Seems like these are kind of self-tapping. I would not use a driver. I would use just your manual screwdriver like I'm doing. Definitely don't need a driver. All right, let's get all these in. Okay, there's the fan. The next thing we've got to do is attach these spacers here. These little black things here, these are spacers that hold the unit away from the wall since we're going to hang it on the wall. By the way, these little cards hanging here says very clearly, do not remove. So, I'm not going to remove it. Next step is going to be mounting this mounting bracket to exactly where you're going to hang it. I need to hang it next to this electrical outlet because I'm using the fan. The fan has to be plugged in. If you're not using the fan, then you do not need an electrical outlet at all for this. So, I want to get within 3 feet of this electrical outlet. The cord on that fan is about 3 feet. So anywhere in this area is going to be fine. And I'll probably keep it right about level with it, as far down as possible because heat rises. So you're going to need your mounting bracket. They give you different options for mounting. If you don't want to or you can't find studs, they give you these little brackets, but I am going to find the studs. Once you find your studs, it's always a good idea to double check that you've got 16 inches between, so you know those are 2 studs. We're going to make sure it's level. Interesting thing to note here, the 2 outside screws on this are 16 inches apart, approximately. But then the inside screws will reach beyond a standard, stud. So I'm going to pre-drill a 1/8 inch hole. One way you can tell how big of a hole to drill is look at the inside of your screw. Not the threads, but the inside. And that's how big of a hole you should drill. So just like I suspected, these outer holes are going to hit studs because that's where I measured to, but these inner holes aren't. So I'm going to have to use these things. Use your own best judgment on whether you want to install this into studs or just into the drywall. I would obviously install it into studs. I definitely think that's worthwhile. Once you're done installing the mounting bracket, I think you can put your tools away. Now I do want to point out, if you are using the fan, there is a manual, off, and auto function on the fan. There are 2 slots where these tabs go in. Easier said than done, of course. There it goes. Actually, that was pretty easy. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. Hook my gas line up, just like that. One last thing to do is to take this little AAA battery they provide and install it. Simply unscrew this. I don't know if it goes plus up or plus down. Looks like it goes plus up. Screw that back into place without cross-threading it. That's the igniter. Yep. Okay, I've let it sit long enough that the pipe dope in the joints has dried, and I sprayed it with a 50-50 mix of just dishwash soap with water. And you just watch for bubbles, and if there's no bubbles, you don't have any leaks, so it's good to go. So let's get her fired up. So you're gonna simply turn this knob to pilot. You're gonna hold it down for 30 seconds, push the igniter button, and your pilot light's on. Now you can turn your adjustment knob to your desired setting, and your heater should kick on. Okay, so I've had the unit on for a few minutes here, and it's definitely putting out a lot of heat. Some things I really like about it. I like how simple it is, really, to install. Other than the gas line, you know, you just put the mount on the wall and hang it on the wall. Pretty simple. I do like the amount of heat it's putting out. It's way better than the little Mr. Buddy heater I was using in here before. So this is going to be a great addition to the garage. I do like that I can take the whole unit out when I'm not using it in the summer, so it doesn't sit in here and get all dusty and dirty, because that's a real problem with this type of heater. The dust gets in them and it clogs things up. So I'll certainly store it in the summertime. Some things I don't like about it. The fan, knocking out that back panel, maybe I would drill it out. I don't know. I bent it, but then I bent it back, and it's in the back. It's covered by the fan. It really didn't do enough damage to be a problem. But the fan itself, listen. So I don't know if you can hear that or not. It's not the quietest fan, and it doesn't move much air at all. It's very ineffective. So if I were going to do this again, I wouldn't buy the fan. I'd probably use a separate fan, like a box fan, just to circulate the air in the room. But it certainly puts out a lot of heat, and it's a good heater. I'm glad I purchased it. I think I spent about $300 for the fan and the unit itself, and then of course extra for the pipe and fittings and everything. But I'll give it a thumbs up. Definitely putting out a lot of heat. So if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up, and we will catch you on the next time when I am doing more stuff.